DJ Nubis.
And DJ Neko.
With you on the Mealtime Radio podcast. We are guested by Shawn Wright, writer and director of the newest release, Night of the Axe. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me.
We got a chance to watch your movie the other night. We actually watched it again in preparation for this.
So we watched it twice.
Very good.
So first, just for our viewers and whatnot, tell us a little about yourself, your background, and what inspired you to be a filmmaker.
So, I'm from the Maryland area. I wanted to make a movie just because it's something I've always wanted to do. When I was younger, I was just thinking, end of high school, early adulthood. I was just thinking, man, it sure would be cool to make a movie.
Right.
And then, because I really started getting into horror movies at that point and stuff. Like I liked them before, but I was really getting into them. Like right about there, I was like, man, I'd love to make a horror movie. Well, make a bunch of horror movies. And what really kicked it off was I went to Monster Mania for the first time. And I was like, man, I could be these people with the sitting at these tables,
Right. Is that the one that happens sometimes in Hunt Valley? Like it's like a
they do Hunt Valley and they do Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never been to one, but I've always wanted to.
Yeah, it's a great time. Very, very crowded, especially the New Jersey one. But anyway, I decided finally a few years ago, I think it was probably 2018, I think, I decided I was going to make a film. So I did. I made a short film, Night of the Axe. The short film Night of the Axe that came out like 2019. And then from there, I made another short film, Spirit Board Doorway to Death. And then I decided I was getting ready for the first full length, which originally wasn't going to be Night of the Axe, but due to budgetary limitations, I decided, well, I'm just gonna, expand Night of the Axe.
There you go. Now, kind of explain to us what is Night of the Axe about?
It's basically about a group of young people who are trying to enjoy themselves, a nice house party. They're just stalked by this crazy escaped mental patient. And, he takes out some people on the way to the house. He takes out some people in the house.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because when I'm watching it, I sort of get like a vibe from like The Town That Dreaded Sundown or Friday the 13th. Was any of that kind of like a little bit of an inspiration behind this?
Definitely. The look of Jason and the killer in Town That Dreaded Sundown were very influential to me. I love that baghead look. I think it's kind of cool. Of course, I love hockey mask Jason, but there's something special about sackhead Jason.
Yeah, it's very nostalgic.
Right. Yeah. Those, Friday the 13th is definitely a big influence in general.
Okay, so when it comes to like current and past directors, do you have anyone in mind that you really like that might be sort of someone that influences you now directing?
Yeah, I really like John Carpenter, of course. Sam Raimi's a favorite of mine. I really love Lucio Fulci.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Italian horror. Yeah, anyone who makes a good old school horror movie, I'm into them. I like some newer stuff, but I mostly prefer the older stuff. Yeah, 70s,
I'm gonna
80s.
kind of pick your brain on that in a few moments, but because like one of my more modern favorite directors is Panos Cosmatos.
He's pretty, yeah,
but it's a whole different vibe then compared to the old stuff. So
yeah,
but yeah, I always love like Carpenter and Argento and guys like that. So I'm very big on that. Let's see. So you talked about how you do like being influenced by old classic horror. Is there any of your favorite horror films that come to mind that is like your personal favorites of your collection?
Yeah, I love The Thing. That's probably one of my favorites. I have a really soft spot for The Deadly Spawn. Have you ever seen that one?
I think I tried watching once. I may have fell asleep. Might have been late at night though, so I may have to go back to it. But I do recall the title.
Yeah, of course the original Evil Dead. I'm a big fan of that. First those the first couple Friday the 13th. Um, Halloween, of course.
Right.
I love all kinds of stuff. I mean, but I
What did
mostly
you
do
What
try
did
to.
you think of the remake of Evil Dead in 2013?
It was good. I liked it. Of
Yeah.
course, it doesn't hold a candle to the original. It's just something special about the first one. But
Right.
the
Right.
remake was fine. It wasn't bad or anything. I don't hate it. I like it.
Yeah, we've talked. We really like that remake a lot. So it's kind of like there's always different takes on it, of course. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I've loved the whole Evil Dead series, and I know that they're working on a new one for next year. I think so. That ought to be a lot of fun.
The one thing that's good about the remake of Evil Dead is they didn't try to make it something completely different. And
Right.
but they didn't go like shot for shot exactly the same. So you still kind of have that Evil Dead feeling and the story, but it's not like I know when sometimes people will do remakes, it's literally like either a shot for shot with new actors, and you're just like, this just doesn't have the same impact or feeling as the original, and you're just kind of like bleh.
Right. There are very few remakes that really surpass or you know are as good as the original.
Like
Uh,
The Thing.
yeah.
Suspiria.
Yeah. That's yeah.
I mean, The Thing
Yeah.
is,
The thing.
technically a remake, but it's like amazing.
Oh yeah. Great. One of the greatest films of all time.
Definitely, definitely. Uh, Now I saw a still like I was kind of going through your Facebook profile a little bit, stalking you. Uh, but I saw like some of your behind the scenes stuff. What kind of cameras and visuals do you use to make this film? Like, is it like I don't even know anything about camera work, but you have like 8 millimeter, such and such, 33 or whatever. Like,
Well, I couldn't really tell you too much about the millimeters, but I
you're
will tell you I shot it on like a Canon DSLR, so it's not
okay.
Oh,
really
okay.
yeah, I'm not using like high grade I was about to say military technology. High grade
Military technology.
high grade high grade film technology. I'm just using basically regular stuff you can buy. Well, you could buy all that, like a Black Magic or something. You could buy that, but I mean, I just stuck to something simple, and I think it worked out pretty well for me. I had a cinematographer. He actually had a much nicer camera, a Black Magic. And I was gonna work, he was gonna be a cinematographer, but due to scheduling problems, he ended up, not working out. So he only ended up shooting a couple scenes, and I did the rest myself.
And do
But
you do all your own editing too?
yep, I did all the editing. I wanted to edit, editing was something I intended from the start to do myself. But when it comes to like the color correction, the sound mixing, that was also something else that I ended up having to do on my own because
Well, yeah, we,
the
we were
guy.
quite impressed as the credits are rolling. It says Shawn Wright this, Shawn Wright that, Shawn Wright this.
Right.
So it was really fun to watch that because, like, it's impressive, man. You really put together a really cool film, and so
I
that's one of the
appreciate
things
that.
that people often wonder is like just how much of it were you doing? You just explained that you were doing most of the camera work and all that, so it's good stuff there. Now, with most directors, whether it's Carpenter, Argento, whoever, they all have like their own personal aesthetic that they bring to their style of filmmaking. Have you found that yet with yourself, or are you still kind of just feeling your way with what is going to be your identity going forward with film?
I'm working on it, but I want to make gory old school horror films for the modern age. So basically, I just want to make movies that you basically would have seen back in the day, but now without any sort of the modern frills you might see. Like, uh, I don't know. I don't want to say it'll look like dated, but it's like you could tell that this is like from that period instead
Right,
of
right.
more from today. Um, yeah, so that's basically all. Like, I would just want to make a fun old school movies.
I was just gonna say it kind of almost has like the aesthetic of Clerks, but not in black and white. It's like of this time, but like just the way it's shot, you can kind of like see that you're trying to go for like a little bit more of an 80s style. Well, I thought 80s style.
Oh yeah,
right,
definitely. Now I really dug the cast. And so did she, obviously. You had a nice, fun group of individuals there, including one Tony, Mr. Tony of the Dead. So,
right.
He's our buddy.
How did you end up choosing this group to do this film? Like, is it just people that you knew personally, or just did you have to seek them out?
The main cast, I sought them out. I had casting calls and stuff, and like some Facebook groups and stuff, and like going backstage, and I also had some like friends of friends, tagging people in it, and I eventually came across this great fun cast. Like I don't even remember how I got in touch with Tony. I think someone messaged him to message me or something like that. But
look at that! Look at those smiles.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, especially that night, because that was I believe that was there was a kill scene that night, I think. Yeah, I think that might have been Tony.
That turned out to be one of our favorite scenes of the movie. Just the effects, and of course, we're friends with Tony. So
yeah, I was messaging him. I was like, "You have really great kill scene." He's like, "Thanks."
Yeah, I really like that one. That's probably my favorite kill scene in the whole film.
I don't know. I love when at the beginning with the metalheads, and they cut his arm. I loved it because he's got like this stump, and he's like, like looking at his stump. It was great.
Yeah, it was. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I saw this picture as well, and I'm gonna pick your brain a little bit here. Make horror rated R again. So I really love that, and I wanted to ask you like how you felt about modern horror within the last decade or so. Are you like, we obviously have rated R horror films out there, but I don't know, something to me is still kind of missing from a lot of it. And I don't know if you feel the same way. And I don't know if that's why you kind of do what you do now with going back to the old school style of horror.
What was the one that we just watched that you and I were like, it's okay? It's the one with the mother and the bottle.
Barbarian.
And, Barbarian.
Oh, Barbarian.
So that's rated R. And
right.
It wasn't bad, but like, I just felt like it was missing something. Like it lagged, even though it wasn't a long movie. And I'm just happy that they're making rated R horror movies, because
it seems like they're kind of scared to go the direction.
All out.
Shawn, yeah.
Like you have nudity, you have people getting like their heads chopped off, and you have no like. There's also everything has a message now, and you're just
like
I'm just gonna kill everybody. There's no like message. People just must die. That's the message.
That's the message. Yeah. Basically that. Well, I don't want to like upset anyone, but I mean I do find a lot of like I don't like preachy movies. A lot of them do seem watered down. A lot of the newer ones, I mean, especially like that has a little dated, I guess, because that's probably more talking about like the earlier 2000s where everything was PG-13.
Right.
They are coming back to the R-rated horror films, but
yeah, it just seems like unless it's like a lesser known director, that they're just not pushing the envelope a lot. So it's funny because like there's two films that like I've only watched once and it's good enough for me. But if I had to say, oh, you think that's bad? Well, you check out Serbian film, then get back to me, okay? It's just one of those things. And but I don't think things have to quite go that far off the cliff. That's pretty crazy stuff there. But I don't know. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I feel like a lot of modern horror films try to stay too grounded in reality.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't go for like sort of the over the top gore and stuff. They'll cut away from it even if it's an R-rated. No, they'll cut away from the gore even if it's like an R-rated movie when you can clearly show it. And also CGI sort of killed some of the fun of that because practical effects was always going to look better than CGI.
Yes.
Even though technically you can do more complicated things with CGI that you can never do with practical effect, possibly. But even a kind of bad practical effect, I think looks better than most CGI.
Yeah.
So
that's the one
another
thing that I really liked about the movie. I know you guys had to do your own effects, you had to do your own makeup, and you are doing this out of it's your labor of love. It's not like you've got billions of dollars at some studio who's able to give you whatever you need, and you were able to create these really realistic effects, and the blood and like the head in the trash can. It like simple things just like the blood people don't seem to get right. Like your blood looks like blood.
Thank you. Well, to be perfectly honest, I would have wanted the movie to be gorier, but
more gore.
I had some, there were some budgetary issues. I had a great Angel. Angel did the special effects, and she did a great job.
Wow.
Yeah, she did. Well, I had another special effects artist, but he also sort of dropped out on me. So he actually did one effect in it, but she did all the rest of them, and she did a great job. But I mean, it just, yeah, she was great. But this mainly just time. It was mainly just time and money was the main issue. It could have been even gorier, but I'm pretty satisfied with what I put on the screen. I'm pretty happy with it.
I need to know how you did the intestines at the beginning, where they're just like, or is that a secret? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but they look so good.
I'm trying to think if I can remember what we did.
Well, it looked like sometimes when the killer, the beast, was like when he stepped on the one guy's head. I think it was who was that he did it to? But the guy was cracking.
Justin Sisk.
Yes. So when he stomps on his head, it almost looks like hamburger meat.
It was Chef Boyardee lasagna, I think.
He's like, we're just gonna squeeze it like a pimple.
Yeah.
Oh god, that was cool. It was gross. I love gross things.
That one thing was hamburger meat, but the head stomp, that was lasagna.
Nice.
Chef Boyardee's lasagna. I think the intestines might have been like pantyhose filled with something. I'm not positive.
Oh, that's really good, because that makes sense. Because it has to be like tubular, like to make it look like the intestine. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe Jello, pantyhose filled with a Jello.
If you ever interview Angel, you can ask her about that.
I actually want to really badly. She's the one who played Jess, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to kind of move into her because I thought that Jess and Doug's love scene was actually really convincing, really nice, and really good. Now, obviously, there's other reasons for that, but I was, out of the whole movie, like I didn't know anything about her, and even then, I didn't know she was your special effects helper either. So I was looking at her IMDb, and she's got like a lot of these other movies that she's been in that I'm kind of interested in seeing. So she's just one of those people I've become a fan of, and I want to check out more of her stuff. But
she's really cool and interesting.
She did the full nude in this, and so again, I think it kind of calls back to what you're talking about with like the old school horror films, where like the Grindhouse or the '80s stuff, where they weren't afraid to push the envelope a little bit. And I really give her a lot of kudos because that takes a lot of guts to go out there and show yourself like that on film, no matter if it's just art or not. So was that something that your script actually called for, or was that something she just kind of did on her own?
That was in the script. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in the script.
I said if I looked like that, I'd walk around naked all the time. So she's beautiful.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like it is sort of frowned upon nowadays. It's a lot of people may look at it as like exploitive or something like that.
Right.
It's like, like politically incorrect at this point. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything bad about it. I mean,
I don't either. No,
actually give actors more kudos for that because it takes a lot more to put yourself out there like that than not to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
And I feel like it's a sort of an American thing too. I think that Americans are a little more
repressed.
repressed, yeah,
We are.
with that sort of thing. Which I don't really think it's anything bad, or it's just a movie. It's just part of that old school grindhouse kind of horror thing, and it's just something
I
feel
understand
like
where
it
it
needs to be part
comes
of it.
from because I watch I love nonfiction and documentaries, and I love learning about things and history. And I was actually watching something about like, women in the film industry and what has happened. It's gotten such a bad rap for women to get naked or topless or whatever because there has been so much like behind the scenes people pressuring women and making them feel like if they don't do this they won't get the job, or they're doing like sexual favors a la
And the thing is,
Weinstein to get jobs.
I think but I think that's always happened on like the major industry level. Like when I think about all the classic horror films that we all love, every actress I've ever talked that are icons in the horror genre, they don't normally frown upon it, and they don't say that like, oh, this director forced me to do this, this, and this. It always seems like it's always the really fancy movies that are out there, and these directors are
but
hard asses.
it's not so much the actresses that are having the problem, it's the public
Oh well,
who is like going, oh well, you're oppressing these women. And that's why like there's so much of the stigma, because people are, and this is literally like something I just read about, they feel people, as in like the general public, start thinking, well, if you're going to like force women to do nude scenes or whatever, that you're doing it and forcing them, because if they don't do it they're not going to have a job or something. And we know that's not like what goes on everywhere. It might have been instances like Weinstein and other like bigger movie houses, but like, as he was saying, when you start thinking about the grindhouse, scene, everybody was naked, even dudes. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
let's just be real.
I mean, I'm not making anyone do things they don't want to do.
Right.
Exactly.
I think that a lot of people, a lot of the smaller movies aren't like, forcing anyone to do it. I mean, it's
Yeah, I just think that on the horror level, it's a lot different, because I think the actresses and actors that go into, they fully understand what it's about, and like even like main actresses like Barbara Crampton, like she had no problem with it either, and she still doesn't. Like she's a really great actress. So,
Yeah,
but it's just. Go ahead. Sorry.
My casting call specifically said it was there, so I mean, there's no.
Yeah, no misunderstanding about what's happening here.
Are you okay with being nude?
And she's like, sure.
Yeah. Going all in.
I did like the little funny part about that, though, because I think it was Doug. He's like doing the whole like getting a hot tub.
And he was funny. Like, he's in the hot tub and he's got like his hair is all like curly and stuff, and he just looked like, it almost looked like a porn star. Just the way he had like a necklace on and his curly hair, and he's just like,
yeah, that's his personal necklace. we thought
she kept playing with it the whole movie, like it was kind of funny.
We saw he was wearing that one time, like he pulled it out or something, and we said, you have to put that in the movie because it's a cool necklace. It's like cool. A cool wolf necklace. Yeah. Like you gotta have that out at some point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So take a bath with it.
Right.
It was so funny because I kept saying to him, this is a party and stuff, and I'm like, these people are just going upstairs, taking a bath. They don't care what's going on. They're going up into somebody else's bedroom. I'm like, I wouldn't do that. That's weird. Like, and he's like,
you have to be old school to know that. I would know that.
I would.
None of the acts is a story about bad friendships.
Bad decisions.
Same thing. If you ever watch the short film, it's sort of the same thing going on. Bad friendships.
Bad friendships. So one thing that I wanted to ask was really towards the end with the Beast and Kat, who I think is the final girl, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Here.
Yep.
unlike the rest of the victims, the Beast didn't kill her right away and took her up to one of the bedrooms and tied her down. Was there? It wasn't really kind of explained, which not necessarily has to be, but was there a particular purpose for that? Was he doing like a ritual? What was the whole idea behind that scene?
Yes, I wanted to leave the Beast sort of like a mystery,
Okay,
like his intentions, what like fuels him. I wanted him to be kind of mysterious, and he has like sort of this ritualistic edge to him. Like there's like something compelling him to do these things, and it told him that he had to sacrifice her, you know, to
got
it. So
She has a great
I
scream at the end.
she does. It's very good.
Now you
Everyone has
said
great
you
screams.
sought them out, right? You saw all the actors out.
Through like casting calls,
Yeah,
and she was
casting
part of
calls.
that. So did you ask? Do you literally ask like, "I need to hear your
Your
good
good
scream"?
No, I didn't. I just kind of assumed everyone has a good scream, you know, because I could always be like, do a little better.
I need your good scream.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, did you face any difficulties while filming, like on a set, like either location or with the cast a problem at any point or anything like that?
No, everything was pretty great. I mean, other than like time issues and stuff like that, everything went pretty smooth. All the casts were great. They were all really cool and chill. Um, Everyone was professional, and sometimes I'm professional, but in the fun way.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean, it's everything was pretty smooth. The location of the main house location was a little sketchy. Not the neighborhood or anything, but at the the house itself, it was like it was everything was like grimy a little bit.
Oh wow.
It was like an Airbnb, but it's like this dude just like lives there and then just rents it out every now and then. It's weird. But it worked pretty perfectly for a scary house. You know what I mean?
That makes sense because there was this one scene and I like they're upstairs walking past a door and I'm like, why is there a padlock on that door? Like
That's a good
and in
question.
my head I'm like, well maybe that's where like the Beast is gonna like come busting out or something. But it literally was they were like it was when he was in the bathrobe and he's like, oh look, I got a boner and he's like, me
Me
too.
too.
And I'm looking at the door in the back, and I was like, "There's a padlock on that door. What is in there?" And that must be like the owner's area that they don't want you to go into.
Yeah, it must be. And if there's a sort of wet spot on the ceiling under where that room. Yeah, it was a weird house.
So you actually rented the house to do all the shooting. It wasn't somebody
Yeah.
you knew.
No, it wasn't someone I knew. I just rented it. I wish I knew someone who would let us use their house, but unfortunately, it's never seems possible.
Especially
So
for many days. Like,
yeah,
we have to be here for many days. So
Was
yeah, I did it.
was it shot here in Maryland or did you go elsewhere to shoot this?
It's mostly Maryland. I shot the main house was in Maryland. The hot tub scene is actually separate in a separate house. So I'm sure you probably might have guessed that. But
I
that
was
was still in
thinking
Maryland. But I did.
Oh, go ahead. I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
I did go up to West Virginia to shoot a scene. The retired cop, Mr. Williams,
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, yeah.
mhm.
Russell Volker. He's a great guy. Actually helped me out a little bit, so I gave him an associate producer credit.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, but he's
Sorry,
a great
Pat.
guy. So we went up to West Virginia to his house and we shot his scenes there.
That's fun. I was wondering honestly because like the house is formstone and that's very Maryland, like especially a Baltimore thing. And I was like, this has to be shot here in Maryland or maybe like up in Philly or Pittsburgh because formstone is not really known around anywhere except for like Baltimore, Philly, Pittsburgh. And when I found out you were from Maryland, I was like, oh man, I bet he shot it in Maryland because like the house looked so Maryland. Like it was
Yep, I shot everything there except that one scene I mentioned.
that is so cool. I love it. I love it. Oh my god.
Now I know you talked a little bit about this when we did our review for the film. How did you determine what your musical score is going to be in soundtrack for the movie?
So I always wanted a old school synth score. I actually had a composer, but
That's awesome.
well, I had a composer, and then he left me.
Oh,
But then I found another composer.
a
I
backup
found another
composer.
composer. Yeah, Matt Cannon, who's great. He made this amazing score. I'm super thankful to him. And then the soundtrack stuff, like the punk music in the tunnel and the ending credits. The punk scene is my friend's band, Meteor King. Scott and Wade were actually the orderlies. So
That's cool.
Their band played in the tunnel scene where I died. That's another thing. I had another actor drop out, so I had to do that.
Oh no!
But that's fine.
So who was busy shooting the camera for you there?
I just let it play, and I just got.
Let's see what happens.
No, actually, Angel. I think I had Angel hit because she was there to do some special effects. I had her hit the play button, the record button a couple times.
Very nice.
But anyway, music. Yeah, Meteor King in the tunnel scene, and the ending credits was this Italian heavy metal band who reached out to me because they were doing they were trying to do scores, or rather soundtracks for movies, specifically horror movies, and I guess they saw my casting post or whatever, and he reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, we want to score your movie? Do a song for your movie?"
That's
and
amazing.
They did. I had him write an original song, "Beast on the Loose," Black Phantom.
Yeah, Black Phantom. Yeah, I don't know about you, but when we watch this and we listen to that end credit scene, the way the song goes a little bit reminds us a little bit of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Almost, it has that kind of like thing going. I don't know if you hear it in there, but I thought it was cool as shit. I thought that's great.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yes, we loved it. It's kind of like what we said during our review. It's like it was fun, funny, and bloody, and that's exactly what, for us, it's what we look for. There are times for serious movies, but like you are clearly going for your gore genre, your horror Slasher. People. Yeah. This is exactly what you want in a horror movie. This is perfect.
Yeah. So did the movie turn out exactly the way you wanted it? Or because I know sometimes you might shoot like a lot of footage and then you have to edit it down to whatever it is. I think yours is an hour and 1 minute or something.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, did everything come out the way you wanted? Or would you take some stuff out? Would you add some stuff? Obviously you wanted more gore, but that didn't happen.
Is there a director's cut?
Yeah, director's cut.
Yeah, you watched it. You watched it.
No, we want the Shawn Wright 4-hour long director's cut.
Well, there's barely enough footage for the hour.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I wanted to. Yeah, I would have added all the scenes all the stuff I didn't film, which is I did miss some. I wanted to add some more atmospheric scenes, some more creeping scenes, just some more establishing of the house and like why no one can open the doors.
I said that I was like, that's their house. Why can't they get out? Why can they not like?
I've locked myself
in my own house.
Originally, I intended to shoot, have shots of the Beast, like tying up the doors and blocking them off so they can't be opened. But I never had a chance to shoot that because I, ran out of time in the house and I could not afford to re-rent that.
Right.
Well, we just assumed that they were dumb and couldn't figure it out. We're like, it's a door handle. What happens here?
1 second.
Oh, no problem.
Sorry, I gotta plug in my phone.
Oh no!
It's dying.
It's like, what's up, baby? We have a cat who needs attention. She's like mewing. Hi. Meow meow.
I don't know where my cat is. I don't know where my cat is. He's around here somewhere.
It's funny, I find, because you're a metalhead, we're metalheads. Almost every metalhead has a cat.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
have one for the longest time.
Mm-hmm. If I could have a black goat like Philip, I would. But I just can't. I don't have a place for it.
Yeah, we have no backyard. We have no front yard. We live in your typical Baltimore row home, and
right.
our backyard. What we did, it was actually a special present for DJ Anubis. We got rid of our backyard and made it into a driveway. So we've got like a tandem driveway now, so we both can park back there. But
Nice.
yeah, like that's I feel like every metalhead that we know has a cat. So if your cat comes on, we'll just say hi and anyway.
But back to what I was saying about the movie. Yeah, I mean, I would have added those extra little shots, just a little bit more atmosphere. I think I did have a little bit more gore in mind, like I said. Sorry.
You're okay.
I would have lost my train of thought. But anyway, but overall, I'm pretty satisfied with what I came up with. I can be hard on myself because it's my movie and it's not
right.
We are
it's
our
my
own
movie,
worst
so
critics.
it's hard to it's hard to look at it and be like, oh man, this is a movie. It's because I made it. Like it's hard to look at it like any other way than this is this thing I put out in the world.
What was your favorite thing to shoot? Like, is there a certain effect you like the best, or just a certain scene?
Yeah, the head, the axe at the head was pretty great. I don't know, I mean, the whole thing was overall just pretty much a blast to film because
it looks like. I mean, like I said,
of course it was a little stressful, but I just
right. How many days did you have to give yourself to do this?
Let's see. I think I did 3 weekends. In the main house. That's the most time I used, and then everything else. A lot of the other stuff ended up being like 1-day things. Like that mental hospital was actually a church in Catonsville. I did like 2 days there. 2 days there, a couple hours each, overnight, and then everything else, every other scene, little shot was like pretty much a 1-day thing, like the backyard scene, the mechanic scene.
So when you scoped out like where to shoot some of this, I mean, how did you end up coming up to the church and finding that spot that you felt like you were going to use for the institution?
That was actually my old cinematographer who I started out with. He actually suggested the place because he had worked there before with another production. So he knew the place, he knew the guy, and then he just got us in there. And that was pretty cool. Because it was pretty perfect for this sort of institutional look. It was perfect for what I was looking for.
Perfect.
Because you can't even tell that it's like a school, I think.
Yeah.
And it's hard because like you have to get creative. You know what your limits are. So you have to sit there and think, how am I going to create this atmosphere? How am I going to create this scene? How am I going to make it feel like, okay, we're in a mental institution. Okay, here we are. Now we're in the tunnel or whatever. Like you are getting creative, but like to find out that was a school or a church is
because first thing I'm thinking is like maybe hospital. Yeah, that's what came to my mind.
I wanted to shoot in a hospital, but it's impossible to shoot in a hospital.
You're right.
It's impossible
unless it's like abandoned.
Especially in late 2020.
Right.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's when you were shooting.
Yeah, I started shooting this like late 2020, and so and I'm just now releasing it. Unfortunately, I've had all kinds of delays and stuff. I would have had this out earlier, but I just took forever to actually, put everything together.
Now, are you taking this to any kind of like independent film festivals or anything?
I might give it a try. I did some film festivals for my short film Night of the Axe, and it got a couple awards, but I mean, I don't know. I was never too big into the film festival thing. I don't know. Like awards are nice, I guess, but I mean, what? I mainly want people to see it.
Right.
Which, I mean, film festivals
are good. Yeah, film festivals are good for that, but I mean,
Now, I did have a question because you shot your short in 2019, I think, right?
Yeah.
you had a different casting outside of, I think, Randy Meehan, who ended up in the full length.
Yes, as
Was there a
party
reason?
extra.
Yeah, was there a reason for the cast change, or it just worked out that way?
Well, I intended for this to be actually it's a prequel, sequel, and a remake at the same time, the full length film. So I remade. I don't know. Have you seen the short film?
No, I have not. No,
Okay. Well,
I will check
basically,
it out though.
the short film. I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
The short film also has the backyard scene with the father.
Hmm.
But this time he's with his son Jim.
Okay.
And he's having some sort of confrontation. And he's killed by the beast in the. But I basically remade that scene. But I intended for this to be a prequel to that as well because I show the beast in the mental hospital and escaping, and then I show what happens after he kills the first house full of girls.
Nice.
So it's sort of a. So basically, that I didn't get them back because they're all dead.
There you go. There you go. That explains everything. So you did mention you had another short by the name of Spirit Board. Are you planning on making that a full length too, or is that just something a one off there?
That's probably a one off. I might work on it at some point, but it's not like a top priority or anything. I really do like Spirit Board, so but it's just not really a priority to make it a full length.
Have you ever thought like approaching the Monster Mania or whatever to show your film, or maybe set up something there so you can get a little bit of like exposure and people can find you?
Well, Monster Mania is pretty big at this point. They're kind of hard to. I don't think they'll show my movie because they don't really show too many movies there, and the vendor tables are really hard to get because they sell out almost immediately.
Yeah.
But I was looking into other conventions.
Oh, cool.
I was looking into other conventions. So once the convention season starts up again, I'll try to look into it. But vendor tables are expensive.
Yeah, I
really
believe it
is.
But I'm definitely gonna look into it. Hopefully, I can get someone to play my movie, and I can, make some money selling some Blu-rays and DVDs.
Have you ever thought of like sending it to like Shudder, or I don't know how that works, like to get something played on Shudder? Or
I'm sure there's like a cost to it though. I mean, it's I mean, Shudder's good about looking out for independent artists, but it just depends. Like, hopefully one day we'll get on there, but it's kind of tricky.
I wanted to first release it to a platform like I'm hosting it on projector.com right now.
Okay.
For rent and purchase.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do something that I sort of had control over, and I sort of made the total profits first before I sort of released it to the wider streaming audience. I don't think that Shudder would probably carry it because they might view it as too low budget for them or something. I don't know, but I could definitely get it on Tubi.
Tubi is great. Tubi is great.
We've been watching a lot of Tubi lately. I love Tubi.
Maybe in a couple months I'll look into some of the other streaming services and see if I can get a free stream thing there. But right now I'm focused on getting the focused on getting Blu-ray pre-orders and rentals and purchases for right now.
That's cool.
Well, here's the $1 million question for you, sir. If you were approached to do a reboot remake of any horror film of your choice of cast and whatever budget they have, what would you like to do? How would you change it to be your own? And what horror icons would you like to work with in doing it? Your dream scenario.
Yeah, I don't want to do a remake.
Okay.
All right. So your own original idea with your own cast.
Just don't get too much out because someone might steal it from you. Don't do that.
I honestly couldn't tell you because I have a bunch of original ideas that I'd like to do, but I don't. I could tell you some people. I would love to have Robert Englund in something. That would be great.
Wonderful actor.
I love that.
Yeah,
she's a big Freddy Krueger fan.
It would be nice. It would be cool to be able to work with Barbara Crampton at some point too. Jeffrey Combs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
I'm definitely into those sort of those old school horror actors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A
And I
shame I
mean,
couldn't.
as much grief as Rob Zombie takes, I love that he brings all these older horror
Oh
icons
yeah.
into his films. I just love that.
Of course, in the total realm of fantasy, I'd love to have like Vincent Price. That would be great.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Or you know, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
That would be great. But that obviously that's impossible.
You're right, right. Well, we have to
But
work on trying to get Carolyn Monroe in one of your films. That'd be fun.
yeah.
So, what other projects are you working on right now? Anything?
I have some stuff in the works. I have some nothing concrete yet, but I am looking at doing an anthology film with my friend Wade, who is associate, not associate producer. He was just a producer. With on Night of the Axe with me. He, like I said, he was also the orderly. He helped me out a lot with a lot of stuff on
Cool.
Night of the Axe. I don't want to go too many details into it. Hopefully, he doesn't mind me mentioning it, but I don't think he would. But that's
I
definitely
love
something I'm looking.
anthology. I love anthology films.
Yeah, and then also I would love to do this movie I have in mind, Easter Evil, about a killer about a killer priest
Nice.
in a bunny mask.
Bunny mask, even better.
That would be cool. And then what I wanted my first full length to be was a zombie film, very heavy Fulci influence, but that would be too expensive to do what I want to do. Like, it wouldn't be like a horde of zombies. It would just be like maybe 8 zombies, but they all be really cool looking. And there would be a lot.
So would it be? It
Too
would go
many.
back to the old school slow zombies, not the super fast ones.
Oh yeah, you can't. You have to have slow zombies. There's no other zombie.
It's like a zombie gang. That would be awesome. That would be a great movie. A zombie gang, instead of like having like the Bloods and the Crips, it's like the zombie gang is going after you instead, and then like if you disrespect them, they just eat your brains.
Have to be careful, someone might steal your idea.
Yeah, he'd be like, got this big thing. We're like, Shawn, remember where you got that idea from, man? Come on.
And they're like disease. Like
Disease.
Disease. That's the name of their gang. So silly.
That's great.
Disease.
Yeah.
Disease.
Disease.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Well, that's about all we have for you, brother. I do appreciate you taking the time out to do this with us. We really enjoyed your film.
Tell our listeners where they can find your stuff, or your Facebook, your YouTube, anything that you'd like to share.
You can find me on Facebook, Face Melt Features. You can find all my stuff pretty much Face Melt Features. On Twitter, on Face Melt Films. My film you can watch, you can rent or buy it digitally on projector.com. That's with a K.
Soon.
Oh, you ordered it?
Yes, I did.
And you can also get the Blu-ray or DVD on pre-order right now at my store, which
cool.
is I can't really read out the whole link, but it's a Face Melt Features store. So if you just Google that, you should find it.
So if you Google Face Melt Features store.
Not your production company, right?
Face that's my production company. It's Face Melt Features.
That's awesome.
I probably should have thrown together an end card for you to put up.
We'll figure it out. We will link it in the description and put
we'll get all
Face
your
Melt
info in there.
And then that way people can just click on it. And we really love the film.
Thank you.
We've already watched it twice, so
I really appreciate it. Hopefully you watch it a couple more times.
We might.
Definitely. It's a lot of fun.
To watch Tony get his axe in his head. Oh, he was so thrilled when we told him. I'm like, yeah, I really like your death scene. He was just like, you could tell he was very proud of himself and very proud of the film and very proud to be a part of your production.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely proud of it.
Yeah, everyone looked like they had a good time. It's just a lot of fun, I can tell, and I'm really happy that I can get the word out for you on your movie here, and hopefully more people take notice and give you some views and buy your stuff. So support independent artists.
Yes.
Please.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hold on 1 second, Sean. We're just going to do our quick outro and then we'll let you go. So hold on 1 second.
No problem.
Just before you die.